I've worked for a lot of people, and it'd be kind of fun to move up and kind of get more piece of the action or something.
All right, well, I guess I can make you an offer.
The ice roads created legends, but they also left behind stories that fans never expected to hear. Behind the frozen highways, massive trucks and dramatic television moments were real struggles involving tragedy, legal battles, life-changing accidents, and shocking personal challenges. Some drivers became heroes, some faced consequences they never saw coming, and others disappeared from the spotlight completely. Today, we uncover what really happened to the cast of Ice Road Truckers after the cameras stopped rolling, the legends who faced the ultimate price. For over a decade, Ice Road Truckers showed millions a world where survival depended on courage, skill, and instinct. Behind the frozen highways were real dangers, personal struggles, devastating accidents, and life-changing moments. These drivers were not superheroes. They were ordinary people facing extraordinary challenges beyond what viewers saw. Number 7. Darryl Ward. Darryl Ward became one of the most unforgettable personalities on Ice Road Truckers. With his trademark backwards cap, confident smile, and fearless attitude, he quickly became a fan favorite when he joined the show's 6th season. But Darryl's trucking story began long before television. Born on August 13, 1964, in Montana, he grew up around heavy equipment and learned early that trucking was more than a career. It was a way of life. Known for his motto, "Any road, any load," Darryl was admired not only for his driving skills, but also for helping others and supporting his community. Sadly, his life was cut short on August 28, 2016, when the plane he was traveling in with co-pilot Mark Mellott crashed in Montana after the Great American Truck Show. The tragedy devastated fans and fellow truckers worldwide. At the time of his death, Darryl was preparing a documentary about aviation accidents, making the circumstances even more heartbreaking. To many fans, Darryl represented the true spirit of the ice roads: courage, determination, and a willingness to face any challenge. His story remains a reminder that life's biggest dangers are sometimes the ones nobody sees coming. Number 6. Art Burke. When Art Burke arrived on Ice Road Truckers, viewers immediately noticed that he was different. He had the personality of someone who seemed built for extreme conditions. A tough Canadian trucker with a fearless attitude, Art quickly became known as one of the show's most entertaining personalities. Between 2013 and 2017, he appeared in dozens of episodes, showing audiences what it took to survive some of the harshest roads in North America. Art had a unique ability to make dangerous situations look almost effortless. He could joke during tense moments, remain calm under pressure, and approach difficult challenges with confidence. However, after the cameras stopped following him, Art's life took a dramatic turn. His biggest mistake happened far away from the frozen roads. In an attempt to create a cannabis concentrate known as shatter, Art used highly flammable butane, a process known to be extremely dangerous because the vapors can ignite instantly. During the attempt, something went terribly wrong. A spark caused a powerful explosion inside his home, with neighbors reportedly feeling the impact from blocks away. The blast caused more than $60,000 in damage, and Art suffered severe burns across a large portion of his body. He spent nearly 2 weeks in the hospital recovering from injuries that could have easily been fatal. But the consequences continued beyond his physical recovery. Authorities investigated the incident, and Art later pleaded guilty to arson by negligence. The legal consequences included house arrest, restitution payments, and financial penalties. He was even forced to sell his truck to help cover the costs. For someone whose identity was deeply connected to trucking, losing that vehicle represented more than a financial setback. It was the loss of a symbol of the life he had built. The incident changed how many fans viewed Art. The confident and adventurous personality they remembered from television was replaced by someone who had experienced the serious consequences of one reckless decision. Today, Art continues sharing parts of his trucking journey online, but his story serves as a reminder that even experienced individuals can make mistakes that permanently change their lives. The ice roads demand respect, but sometimes the most dangerous moments happen far away from the frozen highways. And for another legendary driver, the greatest challenge would come not from the ice itself, but from an accident that would forever alter his future. Number 5. Hugh Rowland. Before the newer generation of ice road truckers drivers became household names, there was Hugh Rowland. Known to fans as the Polar Bear, Hugh was one of the original faces of the series and one of the toughest personalities to ever appear on the show. With his deep voice, blunt attitude, and old-school trucking mentality, he quickly became one of the most recognizable figures during the early seasons. He was the type of driver who seemed built for the frozen wilderness, someone who understood that surviving the ice roads required more than just confidence. It required experience, patience, and respect for the dangers around him. Hugh knew the risks of the frozen highways better than most. He understood that a driver could never underestimate the conditions because one wrong decision could lead to disaster. That combination of toughness and wisdom made him a fan favorite among viewers. When producers first approached him about joining the series, Hugh reportedly never expected it to become a worldwide success. He joked that cameras could be placed inside his truck as long as they did not interfere with his work. At the time, he had no idea that millions of viewers would eventually follow his journeys across some of the most dangerous roads on the planet. However, Hugh's life changed forever in 2014, and the accident that ended his career did not happen on an icy road. Instead, it happened away from the dangerous routes where fans knew him best. While riding as a passenger in an SUV driven by producer Will Morrison, the vehicle reportedly lost control while traveling on a narrow dirt road and rolled over. The crash left Hugh with devastating injuries, including serious spinal damage and a shattered heel. For someone whose entire identity was built around strength, independence, and life behind the wheel, the recovery process was incredibly difficult. Hugh spent years dealing with the physical consequences of the accident, but the emotional impact was just as challenging. The injuries affected his ability to work the way he once did, forcing him to confront a future that looked completely different from the one he had imagined. Following the crash, Hugh filed a lawsuit against the producer, claiming that reckless driving played a role in the accident. The legal battle added another layer of stress to an already difficult period in his life. Eventually, his connection with ice road truckers came to an end, and his departure from the show happened quietly. There was no dramatic farewell episode or emotional goodbye for Hugh Rowland. He simply disappeared from the show, leaving fans curious about what happened behind the scenes. The accident reportedly affected his personal life, creating challenges during his long recovery. Today, Hugh remains connected to the trucking community, attending events and meeting fans who still remember him as the Polar Bear. Although he no longer drives the frozen highways, his legacy remains strong. His story proves that danger does not always come from the ice itself. Sometimes life's biggest challenges appear when they are least expected. Number 4. Mark Kohajkowicz. When viewers think about ice road truckers, they often remember the drivers, the massive trucks, and the dangerous frozen highways where every decision could determine survival. But behind every successful ice road operation is someone making those missions possible. That person was Mark Kohajkowicz. As the founder of Polar Industries, Mark became one of the most important figures in modern ice road trucking. Unlike drivers known for dramatic moments on camera, Mark was the strategist and planner who made critical decisions before trucks ever reached the ice. Mark first appeared on Ice Road Truckers during Season 5, eventually becoming a major part of the series. Viewers quickly realized he was not just an executive watching from a distance. He understood the challenges because he had experienced the work himself. His connection to the North began long before television. While studying at university, Mark developed a fascination with remote northern communities. What started as ice fishing trips with friends introduced him to the challenges faced by people living far from traditional transportation routes. Seeing freight trucks deliver essential supplies across frozen landscapes inspired him to create a business that could serve these isolated areas. That idea became Polar Industries. What started as a small operation grew into a major transportation company, delivering hundreds of loads each season. For northern communities, these shipments were not just business transactions, they were lifelines carrying fuel, food, equipment, and necessities. One of Mark's biggest challenges came in 2017 when flooding destroyed Churchill, Manitoba's railway connection. Mark and his team helped create an ice road operation to deliver essential supplies before Christmas. a mission that became known as a Christmas present to Churchill. However, making that mission successful required much more than simply sending trucks onto the ice. Crews worked long hours under dangerous conditions, carefully planning every route and calculating every possible risk. In the remote north, mistakes can have serious consequences because immediate help is often unavailable. Mark understood that reality better than anyone. His approach was built around preparation, patience, and calculated decision-making. Unlike some other ice road truckers' personalities, Mark's life after the show was not defined by controversy or dramatic headlines. Instead, he continued focusing on the same mission that built his reputation, keeping essential freight moving through some of the most challenging environments on Earth. His story reveals the side of ice road trucking that viewers rarely see. The danger is not only found behind the steering wheel. Sometimes, the greatest challenge is managing the people, resources, and decisions that keep everyone safe. But even the best planning cannot remove every risk. And for the next driver on this list, one devastating accident proved that even years of experience and skill cannot always prevent tragedy when the unexpected happens. Number 3. Todd Dewey. Todd Dewey became one of the most respected drivers to appear on Ice Road Truckers. When he joined the series during Season 7, fans quickly noticed that he was not someone who needed attention or drama to prove himself. Todd was a true professional, calm, focused, and highly skilled behind the wheel. Unlike some drivers who became famous for their personalities, Todd earned respect through his actions. He was known for staying composed under pressure and handling dangerous winter conditions with confidence. His technical skills, especially when preparing trucks for extreme environments and installing tire chains quickly, made him stand out among other drivers. However, even the most experienced professionals can face situations beyond their control. In January 2019, Todd experienced one of the most traumatic moments of his life. While hauling spruce logs near Shelton, Washington, his truck was involved in a devastating head-on collision after a sedan crossed the center line. The crash killed the two people inside the vehicle, a 65-year-old man and a 64-year-old woman. Although Todd survived with only minor physical injuries and was cleared of wrongdoing, the emotional impact stayed with him. He later shared his grief publicly and encouraged others to take road safety seriously. The accident changed his relationship with trucking, leading him to step away from long-haul driving and focus on local work. But trucking was never just a career for Todd, it was part of who he was. The challenge and independence of the road eventually pulled him back, proving that, even after tragedy, his passion for driving remained. After years away, Todd returned to the ice roads, rejoining familiar faces and taking on the challenges that made him famous. But this time, he returned with something he never had before, a deeper understanding of how unpredictable life can be. Todd's story is not about someone who was defeated by tragedy. It is about resilience, survival, and finding the strength to continue despite experiencing something life-changing. The ice roads tested him in ways he never expected, but they also showed the determination that made fans admire him in the first place. And while Todd proved that true courage means returning after hardship, another driver became one of the most recognizable symbols of strength and perseverance in ice road truckers' history. Number 2. Lisa Kelly. For many viewers, Lisa Kelly is the first name that comes to mind when they hear ice road truckers. She became one of the most recognizable drivers in the history of the series and one of the people who helped change the way audiences viewed women in the trucking industry. When Lisa first appeared on the show, she faced a challenge that went beyond the dangerous roads themselves. She entered a male-dominated world where many people questioned whether a woman could handle the pressure, physical demands, and extreme conditions of heavy trucking. But Lisa never wanted special treatment. She did not want to be seen as an exception. She wanted to be respected as a professional driver, and she earned that respect through skill, determination, and hard work. Born on December 8, 1980, Lisa became known for her fearless approach to some of Alaska's most dangerous routes. She faced frozen highways, unpredictable weather, steep terrain, and situations where one mistake could have serious consequences. However, what made Lisa stand out was not simply her courage. It was her discipline. Lisa understood that surviving the ice roads was not about taking unnecessary risks or trying to prove how tough she was. It was about preparation, patience, and knowing how to make the right decision when the conditions became dangerous. Her calm approach behind the wheel helped her earn the respect of fellow drivers and fans around the world. During the early years of her television career, Lisa reportedly struggled with being viewed seriously. Some people focused more on the fact that she was a woman entering the trucking world rather than recognizing her abilities as a driver. But Lisa refused to let those opinions define her. She wanted viewers to see the work, the dedication, and the experience behind every mile she traveled. Over time, she became one of the most respected personalities on ice road truckers. Fans admired her independence, professionalism, and ability to stay composed under pressure. She proved that success on the ice was not determined by gender, but by skill and determination. One of the most emotional moments in Lisa's life came after the unexpected death of fellow driver Darrell Ward. The two shared a professional relationship and business interests outside of the show. When Darrell passed away in 2016, Lisa faced not only personal grief, but also the challenge of moving forward with responsibilities they had shared. Many people would have walked away from trucking after such a loss. Lisa continued. She carried on with the work they had built together while honoring the memory of someone who had become an important part of her journey. Her story became about more than surviving frozen roads. It became a story about resilience, strength, and refusing to give up. Today, Lisa remains connected to trucking and the lifestyle that made her famous. Unlike many reality television personalities, her career has not been defined by controversy or scandal. Instead, it has been built on consistency, independence, and decades of experience. Lisa Kelly's legacy is not just that she conquered dangerous roads, it is that she proved she belonged there from the beginning. But if Lisa represents determination and perseverance, the final driver on this list represents something even bigger: the history, tradition, and survival instinct of ice road trucking itself. He is the man who became a true legend of the frozen highways. Number 1. Alexander Debogorski. Before there were countless drivers attempting to conquer the frozen highways, there was Alex Debogorski. For ice road truckers fans, Alex is more than just a cast member. He is the original legend, the face of the series, and the driver who became synonymous with the dangers and challenges of extreme trucking. Appearing in every season of the show, Alex earned the respect of viewers not only because of his driving ability, but because of the mindset he brought to the ice roads. He understood one important truth that many people never learn: the ice cannot be controlled or defeated. It can only be respected. Alex's calm and steady personality came from decades of experience long before television cameras followed his journeys. He had already spent years working in difficult environments where one mistake could have serious consequences. Those experiences shaped the driver fans came to admire. Someone who was never careless, never reckless, and always aware of the dangers around him. What separated Alex from others was his ability to read the ice. He often described listening to the sounds and movements of frozen roads, believing that the ice itself could reveal important warnings. To him, the road was not just a surface to drive on. It was something unpredictable that demanded patience, attention, and respect. Throughout his career, Alex faced extreme cold, dangerous conditions, mechanical problems, and situations that pushed his survival skills to the limit. But instead of simply becoming known as a tough trucker, he became something more: a storyteller who shared the experiences of a world most people would never see. After gaining fame, Alex continued sharing his adventures through interviews, public appearances, videos, and writing. He gave fans a deeper understanding of the challenges behind the scenes and the reality of life on the ice roads. Despite his popularity, Alex remained grounded. Away from television, he focused on his family and his life in Yellowknife, Canada. The same qualities that made him successful on the road, patience, humility, and resilience, also defined him outside of trucking. Unlike many reality television personalities, Alex's legacy was never built on controversy. It was built on survival, experience, and respect. He represented the true spirit of ice road truckers, ordinary people facing extraordinary challenges in some of the harshest environments on Earth. His story proves that surviving the ice is not about being fearless. It is about understanding the danger, staying calm under pressure, and knowing that the road always deserves respect, because the ice does not care about fame, reputation, or experience. It only rewards those who know how to listen. The stories behind Ice Road Truckers prove that the danger was never just part of the television show. Behind every frozen highway and massive truck was a real person facing real consequences. Some drivers left behind incredible legacies, while others experienced tragedies and challenges that changed their lives forever. These stories remind us that courage is not about being fearless, it is about continuing despite the risks. If you enjoyed uncovering the hidden truth behind these legendary drivers, make sure to like and subscribe to PopRazzi Daily for more unbelievable stories, secrets, and behind-the-scenes revelations.